Welcome to When Not Yet Becomes Right Now, the podcast where we dive deep into the moments of transformation, the times when not yet shifts into right now and everything changes. I'm your host, Jen Ginty, and this podcast is all about those pivotal moments in our life journeys. You know the ones, when the hesitation fades, when we take that first step, even if it feels like a leap. It's in these moments that growth and healing begins. Each episode will explore stories of resilience, moments of clarity, and the sparks that ignite real change. From personal experiences to expert insights, we'll uncover how people navigate the complex journey we call life and come out stronger on the other side. Whether you're searching for that spark in your own life or just curious about how change unfolds for others, you're in the right place. We'll discuss the ups and downs, the breakthroughs and setbacks, and how to embrace the right now, even when it feels out of reach. Because sometimes the hardest part of the journey is realizing that the moment you've been waiting for has already arrived. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's get started. Hello, and welcome to When Not Yet Becomes Right Now. Today, it's just me, just Jen. And it's because I want to talk about a topic that's really important to me and has been weighing really heavily on me. Usually I'm a very conversational show, but I did actually script this, and it's because I really wanted to be able to get all of my feelings out and get together an action plan. So today's episode is deeply personal. It's about living under this new Trump administration and how it affects those of us with trauma, particularly complex PTSD. If you're someone who has survived abuse, you might understand the reaction I have when I hear the voice, the babbling about how much better he's going to make our country, and especially the executive orders he has already attempted to place. For many of us, Trump doesn't just feel like a bad politician. He feels like our abuser. And that's not overreacting. That's reality. So today I'm going to talk about how Trump and his cronies have impacted our sense of safety, our mental health, and our daily lives as women, as disabled people, and as survivors. I'm going to give you a little content warning. We'll be talking about sexual violence, emotional abuse, and political trauma. Please take care of yourself as you listen. Let's start with the most immediate gut-wrenching reality. Trump is an abuser, not just politically, not just in some metaphorical way, but literally. He has been credibly accused of sexual assault and rape by over 24 women. He was found liable for sexual abuse in a court of law, and yet he was elected a second time by a majority vote. This doesn't just make me feel unsafe with the administration. It makes me feel unsafe with the majority of people in the U.S. These people voted against the needs of multiple communities and showed their hatred. The hatred that Trump has allowed them to feel safe, showing openly. Racism, homophobia, sexism, just to name a few. I don't know who to trust because I don't know who voted for this hatred. For survivors, this isn't just political news. It's a nervous system response. Hearing his voice, watching him mock disabled people, hearing his supporters cheer when he belittles women is so triggering. It reminds us of the abuse we tried to escape. It feels like our society is gaslighting us, telling us that our trauma doesn't matter, that our fear isn't real, that the man who hurt us should be celebrated. And if you have complex PTSD, it's even worse. Because for me, the triggers aren't just occasional, they're constant. Every news cycle, every policy, every time I hear him, every smirking comment from his allies is another reminder that I'm not safe. Trauma doesn't exist in a vacuum. The system around us, laws, policies, leaderships, shape how safe or unsafe we feel. This administration is building an unsafe environment. So let's take a look at some of the stuff that it's really been impacting. Women's rights. Trump's Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, stripping away bodily autonomy from millions. If you are a survivor of sexual violence, the idea that the government can force you to carry a pregnancy from rape is another level of horror. Healthcare and disability rights. Trump repeatedly tries to dismantle the Affordable Care Act. He and his party attack disability benefits, threaten access to mental health care, and undermine protections for disabled people. If you live with trauma, these policies can be life-threatening. And let's talk about how this has empowered abusers. We've seen a rise in far-right extremism, online harassment, and violence against marginalized people. His words embolden abusers, both in homes and in institutions. And for survivors, that means living in a world that feels more and more like our past trauma. I've had to restrict social media because it's an onslaught of people that feel completely comfortable with showing that they want to physically harm those who are not like them. Here's what it's like to live in this fear. Every day, I wake up feeling like my rights could be stripped away overnight. And that's not paranoia, it's reality. If you've lived through abuse, you know what it's like to always be on edge, to never feel fully safe, to constantly monitor your surroundings for danger. That's what life under Trump feels like. It's like being trapped with an abuser who has the power to make laws, control our health care, and decide if we have basic human rights. I feel it in my body, the tension, the hypervigilance, the exhaustion. It's not just mental, it's physical. Trauma lives in us, and when the threat doesn't go away, the body stays in survival mode. And that's the cruelest part of all of this. The people who already suffer the most, women, survivors, disabled folks, are the ones carrying the weight of this nightmare. So what can we do? Because as much as this is a discussion about pain and fear, it's also a discussion about resistance and survival. Again, it means making boundaries with social media. It's okay to limit how much news you take in. It's okay to protect your peace. You know, I always feel like I should be in the know. But right now, being in the know of what's going on all day, all week is too much. I need to protect myself, and you need to protect yourself so that you don't feel attacked. We need to build community. We're not alone. There are so many of us who feel this way. Find your people, whether it's online, in activism spaces, or through mental health support groups. That is why I created this podcast, so that others don't feel alone in their struggles. Okay, let's talk about voting and advocacy. It sucks that our survival depends on politics, but it does. Vote, advocate, and support the leaders who prioritize human rights. If you live in a state with politicians who are going along with this administration, make your voice heard. Call constantly. Visit their offices. Build your community to take action. And when the time comes, vote them out. Again, prioritize therapy and self-care. If you can access therapy, please do. If you feel that you need to see your therapist more often, please do. If you feel like you need to, start a therapy group, please do. If not, find alternative healing spaces. There are so many places out there that are supportive, that have information that we can learn from. And there are places that are trauma-informed, that understand what we're going through and what we're feeling, and can be of help when you're feeling alone and under attack. The biggest thing I want to say is this. You are not crazy for feeling this way. You're not weak. You're not overreacting. Your fear is real. Your trauma is valid, and you deserve a world that feels safe. We keep going because we have to, and because we deserve better. Thank you for listening to the podcast. I hope that this feels like a space that is safe for you. And I am thankful for you sharing the space with me. If today's episode resonates with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can reach out to me at jen@notyettorightnow.com or follow along on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can find me at When Not Yet Becomes Right Now. Again, that's why I created this space. I created this podcast because I truly believe that we all have stories to tell and that can help others to feel less alone. If you have a story that you want to share that can help others to feel less alone, I would be more than happy to share that. And if you're struggling, please reach out to someone you trust. You're not alone in this. Until next time, take care of yourself. You matter. You're loved. And if you are feeling suicidal or that you need to speak with someone, please reach out to your doctor, reach out to trusted friends and family, and also reach out to the 988 suicide line. It's an excellent way to help yourself through struggles. I know many people who have used the line and have been able to survive through some of the hardest times because they were able to talk to someone who could really help them. Woo! I have to be honest, even though that was tough for me to talk about, I feel relieved to have spoken my truth. I will have many resources listed in the show notes, including the National Sexual Assault Hotline, otherwise known as RAIN, the PTSD Foundation of America, Planned Parenthood, and the National Disability Rights Network. If you would like to reach out to discuss how we can work together to take action and keep ourselves safe, please email me at jen@notyettorightnow.com. I would be happy to figure out how I can help others and make change. Thank you.